The world of combat sports has seen some wild moments, but nothing quite prepared us for the sight of a legitimate heavyweight titan standing across from a social media megastar in a Miami ring. On December 19th, 2025, the influencer boxing era finally hit a massive 250-pound brick wall in Anthony Joshua. While the highlights are circulating everywhere, the real story isn't just about the knockout that everyone saw coming. It's about what happened behind the scenes, the bizarre tactics used to survive, and the brutal physical price that was paid once the cameras stopped rolling. This wasn't just a fight, it was a demolition that left one man in a hospital bed and the rest of the boxing world questioning if this experiment has finally gone too far.
You watch a Netflix series, you can watch it and you can go, well, I get the gist of it. Why have you got to turn it into 10 episodes? Because I'm dying with boredom after episode.
Are you telling me that Netflix probably emphasised, listen guys, take this as long as you can?
Anthony Joshua didn't step, irrespective. I sat to all these guys, whether it be Spencer or Paul Smith, talking about the fact that Jake Paul couldn't run, didn't have the footwork to be able to move around the ring and get away from Anthony Joshua. And irrespective of the fact that he proved he can run, I mean, we knew he could run because he's got legs. But the fact of the matter is, Anthony Joshua, as an elite fighter, and all this ring rust cobblers, he's not the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz. He was fighting against a YouTuber who hasn't got any level about him. So with due respect to the situation, Anthony Joshua didn't throw any meaningful punches. Even the punch that he knocked him out was an arm punch. And you look at the reality and you think to yourself, Anthony Joshua knew what he was in with. He's been broken into America now as a media star alongside being a boxer. Netflix have got some wonderful content, and Jake Paul runs a...
It didn't take long for the elite level of the sport to weigh in, and the feedback was far from glowing. Former UFC champion Aljamain Sterling didn't hold back, labeling the entire event a clown show as the rounds ticked by. But it wasn't just the mismatch that had people talking. It was the way the fight actually played out. There were whispers and accusations surfacing about what was really happening in those clinches. Spectators noticed something strange. As the pressure from Joshua mounted, the problem child seemed to revert to a different kind of survival instinct. There were moments where it looked less like boxing and more like a desperate attempt to dive at the former heavyweight champion's legs, almost as if he was trying to turn a world-class boxing match into a street brawl just to stay upright. It was a chaotic, messy display of survival that had the purists shaking their heads in disbelief.
Oh! Oh! You better stop playing. You better stop playing. That is nothing to play with. That big motherfucker in front of you, man.
Ooh.
That's it over, dog. Oh! Oh! Oh!
That's
shit!
crazy.
That's a wrap. Don't get up. Don't get up. Stay down. Oh!
That's crazy.
Oh! Shit! Oh! Did you see that shit?
Even the professionals who were there to support the event seemed caught off guard by the pace. Joseph Parker, a man who knows exactly what it's like to trade leather with the elite, sat ringside and watched the drama unfold with a clinical eye. Parker's breakdown revealed a side of the fight that the average viewer might have missed. He pointed out that while the world expected a first-round erasure, the reality was much more complicated. He noted that Joshua actually had to chase him down and break him down piece by piece. The movement from the problem child wasn't just for show, it was a frantic effort to keep the distance, making the heavyweight giant work harder than anyone anticipated. Parker admitted he thought the lights would have gone out much earlier, but the sheer volume of movement created a cat-and-mouse game that lasted far longer than the betting odds suggested.
Hey, what's your reaction to this incredible knockout? What do you think?
I think he did what he had to do. He went out there, took his time, chased him down, unloaded and got the knockout. So that's what we were expecting. I thought it'd be earlier, but he got the job done. So congratulations to Josh.
Despite the clown show comments, a certain level of begrudging respect started to emerge from the chaos. You have to admit, standing in front of a man who has cleaned out the heavyweight division takes a specific kind of madness. Parker himself called it a gutsy performance, and for a good reason. Most people would have stayed down after the first heavy shot landed, but the resilience on display was honestly shocking. Paul managed to find his feet 3 separate times after being sent to the canvas. Each time the referee looked ready to wave it off, and each time the underdog beat the count. It was a display of chin and heart that briefly silenced the skeptics, proving that while the skill gap was a canyon, the willingness to suffer was very real.
What's next for Jake Paul? Should he retire? Should he fight on?
He can do whatever he wants. If he wants to continue.
What about Joshua? You want a piece of Joshua?
Always.
Yeah? What happens in that fight?
Huh?
What happens in that fight with Joshua?
It'll be a different fight from the first fight.
Same thing?
Now, he won the first fight. I think I can take the second fight, but we'll see.
What's the training gonna be like that for this fight?
For that fight, hard work.
But heart can only take you so far when you're facing world-class power. And by the time the 6th round arrived, the movement strategy had completely evaporated. The atmosphere in the arena shifted from curiosity to genuine concern. Parker observed that Joshua was no longer just picking his shots. He had finally timed the escape routes. The calculated game plan reached its violent conclusion at the 131 mark. It wasn't just a punch, it was a statement. When the final shot landed, there was no getting up. There was no gutsy recovery. The fight ended with a definitive, crushing silence that reminded everyone why weight classes and professional experience exist in the first place. The experiment had reached its painful conclusion.
Before getting his face caved in. Literally, you can see the x-rays of his jaw online. Jake did not beat the count after absorbing the right hand that broke his jaw, and AJ got the KO. Guys, let me come out and say the story to me coming out of this fight is Jake Paul. This dude is a maniac in the best sense of the word. And I'm not going to try and hear any Jake Paul slander today on the show. Guys,
Nope.
he got in the ring with a former Olympic gold medalist and heavyweight champion of the world who's 37, like he's not like 45 years old. He's still fighting, guys. Like, yeah, Dubois knocked him out. He was in that fight with Dubois. He was a top heavyweight.
Yes.
Yeah, Usyk beating him a couple times. Usyk, one of the all-time great fighters, and those were competitive fights.
Yes.
That Anthony Joshua. Jake Paul gave up enormous size, experience, talent, everything. And guys, let me tell you something. If all of us right now, you've been retired how many years? 10 years? I don't think combined, including you, Malik, we get into the 6th round with Anthony Joshua. If Anthony Joshua is coming to hurt you, which he was, and Jake Paul was tackling his legs. He was trying to use takedowns. He was exhausted.
Yes.
He was running. Yeah. Are you joking? No kidding.
Yes.
He's trying not to get killed.
Yes.
And by the way, I know it was a lot like William Skull and Canelo Alvarez, where Skull was kind of outlanding Canelo upstairs, but there was nothing on the shots. But the fact is, actually, Jake Paul landed more clean punches to the head than Anthony Joshua did before the end of the fight. What he did was amazing.
Yes.
And guys, he also did something else by taking this fight. What Jake did was retroactively justify fighting a guy like Tank Davis, or even trying to make that fight. Because what Jake is demonstrating here is, okay, everybody, you're accusing me of having to fight an ancient Mike Tyson, or a tiny Tank Davis, or an old MMA fighter. I'm really thinking about how to make a global event that people are interested.
The damage didn't end when the referee reached the count of 10, though. Shortly after the arena cleared out, the true cost of the night was revealed. While the internet was busy making memes, Logan Paul was posting updates from a hospital room that told a much darker story. The images were grim. A broken spirit was one thing, but a jaw broken in 2 separate places was the physical reality of the show. Jake Paul himself eventually shared the x-rays, confirming that the power of a real heavyweight is nothing like the sparring sessions seen on social media. It was a revealed truth that served as a warning to anyone else thinking about jumping the line in the world of combat sports. The jaw can be wired shut, but the footage of that 6th round will live on forever.
Congratulations on your win tonight in Miami. How are you feeling right now?
Calm, chilled, good to get the win, but there's a lot I could have done better. So, yeah, mixed emotions.
Like what?
Could have done a lot better, cut the ring off, maybe done what I done in the 6th, in the 3rd, in the 2nd, even in the 1st. But our wins are good, and that's why we're here talking now.
You talked about having the weight of the boxing world on your shoulders and like the purists, right?
Yeah.
And how do you deal with that type of pressure when the media is so fickle? 1 minute they love you, 1 minute they hate you. Do you feel that even though you won tonight, they're still not going to be pleased?
So with the media, how I operate the media is you got negative and you got positive. So I do honestly focus on the positive. I don't really focus on the negative. And secondly, I just understand that while I'm in the hot seat, so let's say there's a seat, and right now I'm elevated to that hot seat, I gotta take all this shit that comes with being in that hot seat, and then once I move on from that hot seat, no one's gonna care about me anyway. I just gotta.
That's not true.
It's true. It's how it goes. It's how it goes. So I know how it works. I understand the cycle. I'm currently in that motion. I'm dealing with some shit at the minute, but it won't last forever. Have some tough skin, and then in a couple of years, I'll be sitting back watching someone else deal with that shit. Come on, Chan, have some tough skin, you'll be alright.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much
Good
for your
to
time.
see you, Michelle.
Great to see
While the world was focused on the injury, the boxing community began to look at the bigger picture. Why did AJ take this fight in the first place? Was it really about the massive payday, or was there something more tactical at play? Rumors began to swirl that this entire event was nothing more than a glorified, high-stakes sparring session. After the knockout, the call-out for Tyson Fury was immediate and loud.
And if Tyson Fury is as serious as he thinks he is, and he wants to put down his Twitter fingers and put on some gloves and come and fight one of the realest fighters out there that will take on any challenge, step in the ring with me next if you're a real bad boy. Don't do all that talking, AJ this, AJ that. Let's see you in the ring and talk with your fists.
Some insiders suggest that Joshua used this fight specifically to practice chasing down a smaller, faster, and more elusive opponent, the exact kind of movement he'll need to master if he ever wants to dethrone the Gypsy King. If that's the case, the clown show served a very serious purpose for the future of the heavyweight division.
Obviously, he ended up landing the knockout. An article on Boxing Scene today, this morning, an article on boxing.com today about the fight said, and do we really need to see the Tyson Fury fight at this point? Did AJ look so bad that fight might not be viable anymore? Chris, the fight sells out Wembley whenever they make it. This idea that fight isn't evergreen and doesn't have legs, no matter what Joshua had done, I think was insane.
That fight absolutely has to happen. And I think now it will. I think Tyson Fury watched that and goes, oh,
easy money.
I can beat this guy. Joshua didn't look great, and he's coming out as a winner because of that reason. Now, Tyson, I don't know why he wouldn't take this fight. I don't know why he never would have taken this fight. It's such a good fight. And yes, it still needs to happen. It doesn't matter how Joshua looked, because we don't know how Tyson looks. He's been out of the ring for a year and a half. So we don't know what version of Tyson we're going to get.
Guy.
We're not going we don't know what version of either one of these guys we're going to get, but it's almost like neither one of them are near the apex of their career. Right. No question about it. But I think they're both past it enough that it'll still be a good fight. And I don't know how this fight's going to go. I want to see this fight. And it's the biggest fight that can be made in the UK. They have a great fan base over there. It's just a good fight. I really want to see this fight. We've talked about it ad nauseum on our shows leading up to this event. I still think that fight needs to happen, and I actually think it does.
And this idea, once again, that as Chris pointed out, there was time off, there was surgery, these things that he needed to warm up a little bit. Do you see Anthony Joshua as shot after this, Paulie, or is it a matter of, like Chris says, there were some factors and a guy that was running? Like, how hard are you on him after this fight?
I'll tell you what, they're not going to have a 22 by 22 foot ring against Tyson Fury. I doubt anybody's going to have that big of a ring ever again. Tyson Fury does use his legs, but he knows how to use his legs and fight, unlike Jake Paul, who's using his legs and running for his life. Now, do I think movement will bother Joshua? Yeah, to a degree, I think it will. But does a 40-year-old Tyson Fury have good legs enough to bounce like that consistently?
Wreckage of the December 19th clash. We're left with more questions than answers. Did this night prove that influencer boxing is a dangerous game that needs to be stopped? Or did it prove that with enough guts, anyone can at least survive a few rounds with a legend? The social media world will keep spinning, and the warrior narrative will likely be pushed to protect the brand. But the X-rays don't lie. Anthony Joshua did exactly what he was supposed to do, and Joseph Parker saw it all coming. In the end, the hype met the reality of the ring, and reality won by a landslide. It makes you wonder, now that the jaw is broken and the point has been proven, is this the final curtain call for Jake Paul and the celebrity boxing era? Or are we just getting started?
And he's focused on coming back as a boxer in 2026. This is a sport that he loves. This is a sport that saved him from the path that he was on in the past. And I think in a funny way, I'm kind of glad he didn't win. And I know that may sound harsh, but imagine if Jake Paul, 5 years into the sport in reality, probably 3 years into the sport in terms of 3.5 years in terms of fighting top level competition who are fighters, beat Anthony Joshua. What would be the motivation to continue to get better, to double down on your training, to grind even harder had he had beaten Anthony Joshua? So Jake always says the best lessons or the best wins are from your losses, and I believe that happened with Tommy Fury, and I 100% believe in here. Because if Jake is truly passionate about this sport, he now realizes that he has to even commit more time, more resources, more days into elevating his.
That's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.